go. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Raiders Last Call podcast. I'm
That's
Jeff.
that's Jeff. If you didn't know,
Yeah.
underscore any boot man, rare booster. We always mess it up, so don't worry about it. I,
And that's Chris for Raiders.
I think I'm
So
Chris for
we
Raiders
have a
stuff.
special guest. We have a special guest with us tonight. We'll bring her in a moment. But until then, that gets me every time when we
It
start.
does. I'm like sitting like, yeah.
So without further ado, we're going to bring our guest in. None other than Miss Peggy Holmes. Hi,
Hello.
Peggy.
Good evening. Happy Saturday to everybody.
Oh,
And we
yeah.
got one of my favorite people on. Oh, wrong side. My favorite people on, Chris for Raiders. And of course, Jeff has always been a favorite of mine for a long, long time. Glad to be here.
Well, we're glad you're here with us.
We are definitely
So
glad. I'm glad you're here.
Mhm.
Very glad.
I know, Chris, this is the first time you've actually interacted with Peggy in a more formal setting like this. So,
Yes.
I mean, you've seen her shows. You know the wealth of
Boy,
knowledge that Peggy has within,
huge
you know,
big fan because
Raider
Miss
Nation. Yeah,
huge
Yeah.
big fan because Miss Peggy tell it like it is. No punches back, and she
yes, she
tells it
does.
like it is.
She does.
But,
There's
but
no
I'm gonna tell you
sugarcoating it with
something.
her.
That's
I'm
what I
gonna
love about
start it off right by just saying, you guys don't know, but you Raider Kings are special people. I know people in every fan base, and they don't have the respect for women that know sports like you guys do. You guys are so self-confident. You don't have any problem sharing with the Raider sisters. Okay.
Nope.
And I just have big respect for you for
We
that.
appreciate
The
that. We have a lot
only
of respect for
fan
you too.
base.
You know that.
Thank you
No,
very
but
much.
we're the only fan base whose men are secure. I just have to say
Well,
it
because
like
in all
that.
honesty, if you think about it, I mean, out of all the women that I know that know football or like football, um, I've never met a female Raider fan that doesn't know at least a good amount of information and history about the team. You know,
Yes.
That's true.
other sports or other teams in the NFL, not so much. You know,
Mhm.
even living here in New England, I could probably count on 5 hands how many people, women that I bumped into that are Pats fans that don't know jack shit about the Patriots. So, you know,
They probably don't know
but
Tom Brady is gone yet. Oh, he's not playing. I thought he was hurt. I mean,
so
but
before
go
we get
ahead.
into this real quick, I just want to hit up the chat real quick, check in with everybody. So there's Robert Pena's in the house, Raider
Mhm.
Ryan, Sacktown Mike is in the house,
That-
Peggy's in the house. Hi, Peggy.
hey, Peggy.
Hi.
Joe's in the house with us. We got Wheezy. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Cool Kev's in the house. What's up, Kev?
Hey, cool.
LB Raider 10's in
Oh, I
here.
haven't seen Cool Kev in a little while. There he is.
That's everybody that's hit up the chat so far. So what we're doing tonight is we're discussing Raider Nation's in here too. What's up, Raider Nation? Um, what we're discussing tonight is pretty much we're starting at the top of the Raider echelon. We're starting with Al Davis. So tonight is a discussion about Al Davis and everything involving Al Davis that we can bring to the table to the fans that follow us. So we're gonna start it off. We're gonna let Miss Peggy start the process off on where she wants to start with the whole Al Davis process.
Well,
So,
I'm
the floor is
ready,
yours,
and
Madame.
I'm telling you, 1968, and I've been grew up in Washington D.C., so we're Redskins town, and my dad had season tickets to the Redskin games, but every game, if it was close to 3:30, we got up and left. Why? Because my dad wanted to watch the Raiders on NBC. And I know everybody who grew up in the 60s knows that. I got my first jersey, but I asked my father one time, why? Why you like Al Davis? He says, Al Davis gives a black man a chance. He gives every man a chance. He doesn't care what your color is. He just wants you to go out and play for him. Okay? And that's the legacy. That's the stamp that Al Davis put on this franchise. Second chance, no problem. You come tell him, don't get that guy. Al's not listening to you. He just thinks you don't want me to have him. Okay? Al Davis, I bet you most people that became a fan while Al was alive, part of it was Al Davis. He put his heart, soul, everything into this franchise. This is a man who was a coach, right? A man who grew up football, and he got a chance to own an NFL team, got in at the bottom, and became a legend. I mean, Jeff, can you add more to that? This is a man, a special person, and he's the reason why I'm a Raider fan.
I mean, he's the founder of the whole mystique of the Raiders. I mean, that's pretty much where you can start with this as far as his influence on the team and the fan base. I never got a chance to meet him personally. The closest I ever got to him was back in 1993. The Raiders came here to play the Patriots, and I saw the bus drive by. The first bus in the line was his bus. He was sitting in the front seat next to the seat right behind the driver on the aisle in an all white tracksuit like you normally wore, just sitting there looking straight ahead with his sunglasses on, his hair slicked back, and his hands on his knees, just sitting there staring straight out the front windshield as they went by. Now I'm all by myself. There's nobody else around me, and I'm standing out there. I got my Bo Jackson T-shirt on, and I'm sitting out there screaming like an idiot. Raiders! I'm the only one, so I'm thinking all the guys on the team in '93 come driving by, and I'm like, oh shit, he's on there, so and so's on there. I'm like, these guys are all watching this idiot on the side of the road, standing there screaming, waving his arms like a fool. That's the closest I ever got to him. But you still living in New England. I've said this before. We didn't get a chance to watch them on TV a lot during the season. The only time that we really got to see him is in the 70s, is where I got to become a fan. Was the 75-76 season. Because once they get in the playoffs, that's the only thing on TV, a playoff game. So you get to see them in the playoffs. And that's when you see them play at their best, too, because everything's on the line for that one game. And that's where you get that, oh, God, I like these guys. I just like the way they're playing. That whole mystique. They didn't take shit from anybody.
Mavericks,
yeah.
Just one of a kind. I just love that.
Like the Outlaws. I mean, they were the Outlaws, basically. I mean, they were just the bad guys on the field, but they won. So the bad guys do win. It's kind of how you looked at it. That was like my introduction to, the greatness of the Raiders. And it's all because of Al Davis and his insight, or his I guess how you want to say, like what he saw for the future for the team, basically. He saw it long term as far as like, this is what we're going to be, and this is the way we're always going to be.
What does Al Davis mean to you?
I mean, again, to me, he's a maverick. That's one of his famous nicknames. They call him the Maverick. Goes against the grain all the time. You know,
And he loves doing it. He
yeah, and he
loves
does it his way. You know,
right.
just like Frank Sinatra. I'm doing it my way. You know, I'll do it my way. You know, that's Al Davis. Al Davis did it his way, and he didn't take no shit from anybody. You know,
Mhm.
I don't know what Chris's first interaction was as far as Al Davis goes.
To wine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, you're the only other Chris in the room.
Well, you know what? I've never seen Al Davis up close personal, but I know one instant I saw him. I was with the LA Coliseum when the Raiders were in LA, and they was playing Denver Broncos, and one of my best friends were as a Denver fan, so we got together, got some tickets, and this is the first time I got to the game early for a change, beat the LA traffic, and we saw the pregame warm-ups, and we're sitting there like about 15 rows up off the 45-yard line, and this guy in a white jumpsuit walking on the field. And my friend said, "Who's that old man out there walking on the field?" I went, "That's Al Davis, man. You better not let him hear you say that, old man walking on the field, because Al
Uh-huh.
Davis don't play no minutes. So keep it quiet. So make sure you don't hear you." That's the first time I've seen Al Davis up personally, like in real life. All the time I see him on TV, but I saw him like, yeah, that's Al Davis. That's the owner. Then he like, oh, okay. So
And I've got it. I've got a real. I'm glad you're talking about that, Chris. Raider blood ran through Al Davis's veins. Okay, and Al, 2008, Baltimore Ravens. Okay, Ravens were playing the Raiders the next day. It was a Friday night, and we were the DC Metro Raiders. We always greeted the team's bus when they drove up to the hotel. You know, it was a whole clandestine James Bond thing to find out where they were. But 2008, and we're sitting in the lobby of the Baltimore Marriott waiting for the Raiders to come in, and I decided I want to smoke a cigarette. I went out to the side entrance, sat out on the bench. Big limo pulls up. Okay. Security people get out the limo, right? There's a car behind it. Then Al Davis, he had a walker by then. He gets out of the car. I say, Al, they're in there waiting for you. Okay. He said, oh no, I've been waiting for y'all, and he goes in there. And of course, I follow him right in. It's 2008. And I think Jamarcus was on a team. Namdi was on the team. A couple of other people. But the whole thing was Al Davis said to us, he says, we're going to turn this thing around. And I could see the passion in him. He really believed that he was doing what he could. Of course, we know the last 10 years, Al kind of was missing more than he was hitting, but that wasn't his record. But Al cared. You could see that he was passionate and always has been about his Raiders. He says, we're going to turn this thing around. There's a crowd of us waiting there. And, we're doing everything. And he was talking about the things that he was going to do. He sat there he didn't have to do that. He stopped and talked to us. And that's the one thing about the Raiders that Al always made sure. The Raiders were always close to their fans, right? The Booster Club Network, getting Morris to set that up. I mean, He always, remember the Raider tour and the Raider fan day where you get a tour of the headquarters?
Yeah, Mecca, the Raider Mecca.
Raider Mecca. Al made sure that he was close. And let me tell you what else he did for us that weekend, just because he made every coach and player available to us. Not only that, he asked us who our veterans were. The veterans got a free pass to come in and watch the Raiders practice on Saturday. He didn't know us from Adam's apple, okay? Yeah. But Al did that for us. And I got a lot of people that will testify. My veterans, they were just thrilled. The players came down. They all did autographs. I walk into the cafeteria. I see my son. He was about 9 years old, okay? He's sitting at the table with Tom Flores. And I'm like, what's going on here? My son, 9 years old, was sitting there having a football conversation with Tom Flores. That's how close, keeping the veterans, the Raider legends with the team. I mean, I just don't know too many teams that do that. That's what Al was about. Okay. He really thought football was for the fans.
Yeah.
We're doing this for y'all. Of course, times have changed. Okay. Money is the big thing now. And I'm sure Al cared about money. But in those days, we were close. I mean, that close. We got to sit and talk with every Raider coach and player. And my son sitting in there talking to Tom Flores like they've been in the game forever, 9 years old. But it was nice that Tom Flores took, and that was Al. That was Al saying to everybody, okay, you guys, these are our fans. Make yourself available. The guys
He
had
catered to the
autographs.
fans.
Yeah,
That's
He
right.
catered to the fans. And like even to this day, we're the only team that I am totally aware of that does anything like a alumni day. No one else does that in the league.
Yeah, I haven't seen another team does what we
And
do
I'm
with the
glad,
alumni.
yeah,
They bring
and
them
I'm
in,
glad
have
we
parties
still do
for
it
them.
even in Vegas. Because if
Yeah.
that goes away, that's going to have a big impact on the fans. The fans are not going to be happy, unfortunately. You know,
Because
if the team ever decides not to do it anymore.
you don't see
But
too
it's
many
great
teams
PR.
oh,
Sorry, Chris.
I'm sorry. Let me cut you. I thought you were done. You don't see too many teams after a game with the alumni in the locker room.
Yes.
That's what Raiders do. I mean, they're in the locker room, they're talking to the players. But you see other teams, they don't do that. I haven't seen any other team do that. If they are, I never saw it. So they take care of the alumni.
Woodson in Mark Davis's box. And that's why all the people that were saying, sell the team, Mark. Mark is our last connection to the Raider way. Okay? He's made some, he don't know jack about football. Okay?
Yeah, I mean,
He's
he's
made
even
some
admitted it. So, yeah.
mistakes. Okay? But the one thing he hasn't forgotten is his connection to those legends. If he goes away, so does that connection. And I realize he's 70, he's going to go out of here sometime. But that's our last connection that really remembers, you know, how our vets were treated. I mean, I keep in touch with Anitha Barnes all the time. And she, you know, shares with us, you know, what the team is doing for their vets. And they still are doing a lot for their vets. And things that other teams, like you said, just don't do.
No. You know, even another big thing is booster clubs. You know, Peggy's involved, former president of the DC Metro Club. You know, I'm the current president of the New England Raider one. Now, your club is, how many years has your club been around, Peggy?
Well, yeah, we started in 2001, and I kind of disbanded it in 2020. I was retiring, and you know, I wanted, you know, I just had to force the new blood in. But 20 years we were around.
Yeah, so you guys hit 20. You know, we just celebrated our 20th. Actually, little known fact that most people watching don't know is when our club celebrated our 10th anniversary, we went to an amusement park up in New Hampshire. And this young lady right here spent the entire weekend with us up in New Hampshire at the park and, you know, hanging at the hotel and, you know, having our Sunday morning breakfast, you know, it was a big ass club, you know, before everybody headed home that day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. But that's the
so
booster.
It was so
club
much fun,
network.
you know. That's why I was hoping you were going to be able to come up for our 20th, you know, but
Yeah,
we had a prior commitment. But
yeah. I mean, but that's the kind of thing that Al, if it had to be him behind all of that, wanting to keep the team close to the fans. He always wanted to. I get invited to the sidelines. That was when Amy was here. You know, Amy Trask was here, and Al. You know, every once in a while I get invited. You know, to the sidelines when I'm in Oakland. When I was in Oakland, you know, they do little things and they don't publicize it. They just do it, and then you know, donations to charities or local clubs. You know, approach them. And that's the kind of thing that Al is. And I wanted to dovetail this because I told him, I promised you I was. Let's get to the technical working side of Al Davis's mind.
Yes, ma'am.
Football mind. Okay. And people don't realize this. Al Davis was the GM of this club until he passed in 2011. So from 1962, roughly, to 2011, that is 50 years that he was a GM. The Raiders don't understand what a GM, and it's partly because we're spoiled. We had an owner that was the GM, and he was, some say, the best GM in NFL history. Okay. We had a guy that knew talent.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always about what can this guy do for us, right? You heard the story, the Willie Brown story, right? About how he was Denver drafted him. Al was like, damn, I wanted him, but Denver got him before Al could get to him. So he's watching. And about 5 years later, it had got to the point between Denver and Willie, they weren't speaking anymore. Okay. And they had benched him. And, they were telling Al, don't get Willie. And Al Davis told me this story, okay? Told a group of us this story. Don't get Willie. He's a troublemaker, da-da-da-da-da. Well, Al said, that was when I knew I had to get him. He said, as soon as they put him on the waiver wire, I was there. And he got him, right? Or I think, a trade. As soon as they put him up for trade, that he traded for him, got him here, rest is history. Al knew the pieces that you had to put together to create a champion. We were competitive. That's what Al wanted. And his football mind, in his mind, he knew the kind of guy he wanted playing corner. He knew the kind of guy he wanted on the O-line. He knew what kind of quarterback he wanted. He knew what kind of linebacker he wanted. That's a GM. Okay.
Well, it was.
Go ahead.
I think it was a combination of that, and also he was a guy in favor of second chances for players too. Players that were deemed washed up and no good, and he always had a knack for finding that hidden gem in that player, and convincing them to come to us, give it one more shot with us. And, if you do great things with us, great things will come. And, you look at what some of these players that he brought in that way and what they became for the Raiders. And during those 3 years of, those 3 different Super Bowl runs, you had that. You had a lot of guys that came in on second chances, in some cases third chances, like Alzado. We were his third team in the NFL. We went from the Browns to Broncos to us. So for him to win that Super Bowl and have the career he had with us, even though it was a short career, that means the world to somebody. Willie Brown, same thing like you just said. He comes over to us, and guess what? He becomes one of our all-time greatest Raiders in history.
Who can forget that iron? Who can forget that interception in that Minnesota?
I was there. I saw him running towards me.
You did?
I'm gonna tell you a quick story. Everybody already know it, but my whole family in them days were Rams fan. I hate the Rams because they always get their butts kicked by the Cowboys, Vikings, everybody else. Like, why you got room for this team? I'm 11, 12 years old. My grandfather and uncle bought Super Bowl tickets in Pasadena because they said the Rams gonna be there and shit. I know they're not. So we went anyway. I went with them because the other guys were bailed out. So we're sitting there in the end zone. And I was like, look, I saw a team couple, because them days we didn't see the Raiders. All we saw was the Rams and Cowboys on TV, NBC, CBS in LA. That's all we saw. So I saw them now, Monday Night Football. And then we went to the game. I said, I like this team. I like the colors. I saw the colors before. I really, in person, I really look at that silver, just shining. Like, I like that. Willie Brown got that interception running towards me. I looked at my grandfather and said, you know what? That's my team. That's now. And been a fan ever since.
Man, when he jumped that ball, And you knew how desperate the Vikings were. They were just putting it out there now. They were trying to do anything because they were so far in the hole. When he
That
jumped
that
that
clip to
ball,
this day is used in just about any NFL film.
Yeah, it
When they
is.
show the history, it's always, in the commentary, oh man, Willie Brown, as he's running on the side with the ball, and you see it in his face, like that determination that I'm gonna get there.
Yeah,
So I
mhm,
mean,
it was a
as
beautiful
long
thing.
ago as that's still relevant in today's day and age. People
Uh-huh.
still know who Willie Brown is just by that video clip. But we
But
know
back,
who the man is.
real
he's
quick,
the second chance guy.
yeah, back
Another
to like you
second
said,
chance.
second chance. It seemed like Al Davis always picked those second chance guys, and also picked the guys that didn't get along with the coach, didn't get along with the locker room. But
Hmm.
those guys are bad, mean, vicious. That was his style of players. He wanted those bad guys, the naughty boys. They said, you know what, come play with me. That's how we're gonna play. We're gonna play dirty on the field. Like John
Yeah.
Madden said in that clip. I don't know if you have it still. We play dirty. So what?
So what?
Uh-huh. That's kind of place he wanted. That's what I loved about it. So he's not scared of nothing. Nobody.
And another second chance guy. A lot of people don't know Ted Hendricks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ted
That's right.
Hendricks was with
Yeah, came
Green
over from the
Bay.
Colts.
Well, that's right.
No,
He was.
No, he went to the
and
Colts after us, I think, right? Wasn't it?
right,
Didn't he
but
go to
he was
after?
he
Yeah.
was with Green Bay, and Al told us that was another guy. They told him, "Don't get him. He has an attitude problem."
Mm-hmm.
Except Al had been looking at him since college. See, and so he kept. I don't know whether he kept it in his mind or a little notebook, scribble, scribble. This. I want this guy. I want this guy. Right? Oh shoot! Somebody else drafted him. He still kept his eye on that guy.
Hmm.
He still wanted them. 8 years later, 10 years later, he still wanted them because he felt that they could do something. They were a piece in his mind. And I'll tell you about, speaking of pieces, another thing that made Al a great GM, role players. Those guys that you aren't really thinking about, they're not making a whole bunch of money. Well, they didn't in those days, but the Rod Martins of the world. The guy, what's the name of the guy that intercepted that ball in the Redskins Super Bowl? Jack.
Jack Squire.
Squire.
Jack Squire. Rest
Yeah,
in
I
peace.
mean,
Rest in
we're
peace.
talking about guys who are just contributors.
That was my
You
favorite player.
cannot win us. Yeah, you.
Rob Martin. Rob Martin, my favorite player.
Oh, he is. Oh my God.
I've met him a couple of times. I love. He has a great personality and attitude.
I
I've met him a
have
couple of times.
too.
Man, he's a wonderful person. Oh man.
Yeah. And I've been on a Raider cruise with him as well. And he has some great stories to tell. I mean, a lot of these stories that I'm telling you, I get it from the legends. Okay. I listen when they talk to us, but that's what Al gave them, the ability to be close up and personal and comfortable with their fans. But the role players, you can't win a Super Bowl without them. Okay. Those guys that come in on third and one, okay, come in when it's nickel package guys, guys who special teamers, okay, and then of course Al loved his kicking game, and Derek Ramsey told us this story, the kicking game. Who drafts kickers first round? Al Davis.
Al Davis.
And it follows it up later on with a punter. Same draft.
Yeah.
And of course, we have the first Hall of Fame punter, Ray Guy. Al said to them one day, the kicking game is if that's not right, you're not going to win any championships. Al firmly believed that. He did not waste time. We've had some phenomenal kickers, have we not?
We had some of the best punters in the NFL. We always had great punters through the history of the Raiders. Always. Leckler, Ray Guy. What's the other guy's name? I can't remember the name. But we always had great
Cole
punters.
right now. Now it's Cole.
Cole.
Oh my God, who was some of the other ones?
We've had some good ones.
Yeah, we always had good punters, especially in that Super Bowl against the
And
Redskins.
kickers too. I mean,
We really got to
and
jump up and
kickers.
kick the ball away. I mean, look at that. Always had good punters.
And I remember Al was a little disappointed with Janikowski. He thought that he was right on paper that Janikowski was going to be a Hall of Fame kicker. Not that they got any kickers, right? Mark Mosley should be in there. But anyway, he thought that Janikowski. Turns out Janikowski liked to drink. He liked to party.
Yeah.
Okay. And as quiet as it's kept, it's one of the reasons why Al Davis and Marcus fell out. Okay. Marcus Allen. Al was a straight Puritan ethics guy. For all that maverick and that meanness and tough guy and angry, Al played it straight. He didn't like his players drinking and drugging. Okay. That's something that people need to understand about him. And his players understood that. Okay. Stay clean. Okay. And what happened with Janikowski was he liked to drink. And with the leg that he had, Al was right. He was a first round pick. He should have been in the Hall of Fame. But because of his habits, Al said that, some days he'd be phenomenal, and then there was no consistency. But he still is one of our kickers. But go back down. We've had some kickers in here. I mean, some guys, and we've got a good one right now. It's a tradition, and Al started that tradition. Okay, but that's what I'm talking about when I say role players. He would go out and get himself an Eric Dickerson at age 32. Just because Eric was a player he always liked, right? He got a Ronnie Lott, right? A 35-year-old Ronnie Lott, because he admired Jerry Rice. Al would always be thinking, I like that player. I want to get him. Okay? And if I have to wait 20 years to get him. But he knew talent. And that's one of the things. But it dovetails, Chris, into a discussion that I had on another show about why that GM role, the Raiders haven't got it right yet. It's because we're spoiled. We don't understand the role of a GM because we
on a team level for the Raiders. Yeah. I mean, we might understand how GMs are on other teams, but it's still a new concept to the Raiders. It's only been in the last 10 years that we've actually had GMs. Not that we can keep them for any length of time, but we still
don't understand what we want out of a GM because we don't understand anything about the role. And Mark is not the guy to figure that out. Okay.
I want to read this real quick here because he pops in every now and then.
Wait a minute. What's going on?
So Raider Nation 24, he goes, hey, my brothers and sisters, want to update you all on Raider. They named their son Raider. 2 months with his G-tube now. He is thriving. He's had 5 heart surgeries in 19 months in the hospital, but now he is home and thriving. Dude, that is so awesome to hear. I'm glad that everything's getting better for you.
Right.
Obviously, Raiders in our thoughts and prayers, of course.
Always.
Keep in touch. Let us know how everything's going. Appreciate you filling in.
Because you know what?
Letting us know what's going on.
You know what, Jeff? Like I said all the time, I say, good evening, Raider Nation. Good evening, Raider family. We're a family. We're not just fans. Yeah. We're Raider family. Yeah. And we all look out for each other. So that's, hey, put that back there, please. Go back up.
Yes, I was getting ready to tell him, Chris got that coach look tonight.
He does. Before I came on camera tonight, I could see him in the, in the green room down below, and I could see he had a polo shirt. I'm like, this some bitch is showing up all half dressed up, looking all business casual, he's walking off the sidelines as the coach.
Miss Peggy's here. Miss Peggy's here. I have to look my best for Miss Peggy. Okay. It's the first time. It's the first time. It's like the first date.
He is sharp. You should be on the sideline.
He's making a good first impression for you,
impress.
Peggy.
You got to impress on the first date. So that's what I did.
Oh man, no. I mean, somebody
welcome,
made that
Raider,
comment earlier. You look like a coach. You do. You look at Raider sharp because Jeff always looks like Jeff. Jeff.
Yeah, it's
but
black.
But you look at
I
Raider
even
sharp
shaved my head
tonight.
and my face tonight for this. Okay, I the only thing I didn't do is put makeup on, so I'm that's why I'm all shiny.
Mm-hmm. And that family thing, that's Al too.
Yeah.
Because of the way he treated his legends. Now there's a few former players like Marcus, you know, he wouldn't be coming around, but you know, who didn't, you know, have such a good relationship. But even when they're not in Oakland or not in Vegas, they still on their own reach out to us fans. And that's something Al taught them. Okay. And Derek tells and Rod tells the story as well. Al was like your father. That's what all the players say. He was like your father. Derek tells the story that when he's talking to Al, he just signed a contract, that time, $145,000, that was a lot of money. So he was all happy. He says, I'm gonna buy my mother house. He said, buy a real estate company. Invest in a real estate company. Why are you just gonna buy a house? You can have the house and your house and everybody else's house too. Al would always be pumping his players up, making them dream other dreams beyond what football. He would always make them think about what's going to happen to you after you can't play anymore. Okay? And those are the things that, I guess makes us Raider fans. We can sense that. Can't you sense that? You said, Chris, you said family.
Yeah, but see, it's like you said, like Marcus Allen, him and Al Davis have fallen out, and I was shocked that happened. Don't know the details, but he goes to our rivals. But yet, where does he come back to all the time?
All the time.
Comes back to the Raiders all the time. He's always there. He's in the building.
He's home.
Yeah,
Raider 24 Nation. Don't ever worry about you. No, when you've got something like this to say, we'll stop and listen, man.
No, you're not taking it over.
Don't worry about it. You say what you want to say.
That's a beautiful name.
No, that was nice.
Autumn Wind.
That was a good update. I appreciate that.
His daughter's name. The daughter's name is Autumn Wind, and the son is named Raider.
God, and I know families like that. They got all it. And Frank, I don't think it was that he didn't want to share. This is just my opinion. I think that the way Bo Jackson was brought in, because once again, if you know the mind of Al Davis, he's been looking at Bo Jackson since college. I want that guy. Now, the question is, the guy wants to play baseball. He wasn't trying to take Marcus's job until Marcus misread that. Okay? He wasn't trying to replace him. He knew Bo was only going to play half a season of football anyway. He wasn't going to be full-time.
No.
And Al thought Bo was going to be a great complement to our running game. Y'all remember that Seattle game? Monday Night Football.
With the great Bosworth.
Bosworth.
That game was so hyped all week long.
To Bosworth. He was done from that point on.
It was
a week's worth of
Jackson show.
Yeah, a week's worth of hype for that game for Bosworth versus Bo Jackson turned into it lasted about 20 seconds, about the length of time that it took from them to snap the ball and for him to step on him and run past him into the end zone.
On his chest.
That was it. The hype was over right there.
You guys remember that game, but that was that 1-2 punch that Al was dreaming of. And you remember with running backs, once again, this is in the mind of Al Davis. He's always been a fan of running back by committee. right? That
Yeah.
77 Super Bowl, that whole season, 76. I mean, Van Egan, Hubbard, Clarence Davis. He likes certain type of runners for certain type of situations, right?
Well, it was also his thing of, no one's above the shield, so it takes a team to win. It's
Exactly.
not just one guy that we're putting the team on that guy's shoulders and he's winning it. But that's the way he was. Everybody puts it down that not puts it down, but it's always listed that he was from Brooklyn, New York, which is correct. He was from Brooklyn. But little known fact, he was actually born in Brockton, Massachusetts. That's where his first home was in Brockton, Mass. And then his family moved to Brooklyn, and that's where he kind of grew up as a kid, was in Brooklyn, before making the move out west as he got older. But he's originally from Brockton, Mass.
Yeah, I didn't know that till you mentioned that to me. I said, I didn't know that because they always talk about he's from Brooklyn. He's not born. He wasn't from Oakland. He's from Brooklyn. That's all I heard.
And Peggy knows this gentleman. I'm going to mention his name, Jason Goff, who was our former president of the Booster Club. He's actually going out to the house and taking pictures of the house because he got the address somehow, and he's got pictures of the house, of the actual house that Al Davis was born in. Yeah.
Well, I mean, a man like that, an icon like that, whenever everybody says, what's your Mount Rushmore of men for the NFL? Al Davis is on 9 of 10 of those lists. And
without Al Davis, there is no NFL.
Yeah, there is. Right.
And everybody talks about, nobody came to Al's funeral, right? Except Jerry Jones. The rest of the owners didn't like him. No, the rest of the owners didn't understand him. They didn't understand his mind. We do. We did. It was easy for us. But they didn't understand him. Go ahead.
This brings me to one of where is it? One of the questions I actually had to see what your thought is on this.
Question time.
Here it is. Out of all the owners in the NFL right now, modern day owners, who most resembles Al Davis?
None. But
most resembles. Not saying resembles him, or who's trying to. Who do you think as an owner is trying to do what Al Davis did, like following his footsteps?
What are you thinking, Chris? I need time.
Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
That's only one. All the rest owners are not not even close to. They ain't in the same room.
And a lot of that was they became quick friends once Jerry Jones became owner, because he saw himself. This is in his mind. He saw himself as like the next Al Davis, basically, because he admired what Al Davis did and how he turned, the franchise around and did what he did in Oakland. And I guess, it's the fact that he was trying to take that blueprint that Al put together and do that in Dallas. By being the ultimate owner and being involved in everything. It's just that he's horrible at it compared to Al Davis. Al Davis could evaluate talent. There's no two ways about it. He could definitely do that. Jerry Jones can't do that.
Perfect owner GM. He could run he had all the skill set, the tools, and he had that nose up until the last 10 years. He had that nose for talent. But I want to talk about the last 10 years, guys, because I'm not sure Al changed. I think the league and the players changed.
Yeah.
What are you thinking of?
The money,
Chris?
too.
Yeah.
It's the money and all those TV rights, and Al put the NFL on the map. It was like I just said, it wasn't for Al, there would be no NFL. Because remember, it was AFL versus NFL. Al was taking players from the NFL, which forced the NFL to he's taking all our good players, the AFL. The Houston Oilers and I can't saw these, but they're taking all good players.
That's right.
Let's merge them so they can't do it no more. So Al actually, and they say all of that. So like that's it. No NFL to Al. He's a pioneer of that. And but it was changing now. It's the money, the greed, some players getting paid more than they worth, and some players not getting paid what they worth.
I think it's about agents. We don't know enough about the role of agents.
Oh yeah, they're 15%, and they're 15%.
Yeah, but to me, they are having a lot of influence in jacking these prices up. I mean, too much, and it's like the NFL just is beholden to them. When he says, Gino says he wants 40 to 45. Okay, we'll tell him we're going to pay it to him. You know, though, how does that happen? I think you need to have a show on this, Jeff, on the role of agents.
Okay.
And Al would not deal with agents. He always liked to deal directly to the player. But the last 10 years, the players started saying, no, you got to talk to my agent.
Well, I think a lot of the reasons he didn't want to deal with agents is because agents, plain and simple, are lawyers. And Al didn't like lawyers either.
Pretty much, he didn't like lawyers.
He sure didn't have no
Felt
problem
protected.
going to
He
court,
didn't want to work with agents either.
Oh no, yeah, the NFL don't want to sue Al. They left him alone. Said no. They had that one lawsuit that was all the change but Al. No, we don't want Al in this courtroom. I'm scared of him.
And a lot of people don't realize how much of an impact Al Davis still has on the game today. The NFL as a whole, and I know I already said this tonight, and Peggy agreed with it, is the NFL wouldn't be what it is right now if it wasn't for Al Davis. And part of that reason is what forced the NFL's hand to adapt and take on the AFL was Al Davis going and trying to sign contracts of players that were already in the NFL and bring them over to the AFL, also with the draft.
Yeah,
they had territorial drafts, is what it was. So if the Raiders wanted a certain player, they could draft the guy. But if the guy wanted to come to the Raiders, he could, or he could go to an NFL team. But he was forcing these contracts to the point where they were paying ridiculous money. And these NFL owners didn't like it because they were penny pinching. So it forced their hand to finally say, hey, listen, we need to combine or they're going to kill our league. And that's pretty much what it came down to.
Yeah.
And that's why Lamar Hunt and Al Davis hated each other because he was taken from the mouth of Lamar Hunt by doing what he was doing. So people don't realize how much of an impact Al Davis has. Like I said, without him, there'd be no NFL. There would be an AFL. I could tell you that right now. NFL would have been defunct.
Yeah.
And
I think with that. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I think
go ahead.
With that being said, is that's why the NFL still have a hatred for the logo of the Raiders. What happened? It's like runs right through their veins.
Carries on to this day.
Each whoever passes down to this and that.
We hate it though. Don't we like that? I mean,
it's good to be the bad guy.
I love being the bad guy. I love being the bad guy. I say I root for Darth Vader. So what do you think?
And this is something, and I'm glad I could tag on to what you're saying, Jeff, about how the NFL would not be the NFL we know it without an Al Davis. Al was the one that put the idea out about a union. And our guy, Gene Upshaw, was the creator of that union. Okay? Yep. Remember I was saying earlier about how Al always encouraged his players to go beyond, the little things. Think big. Okay? You don't just want a union. You want to be the creator, the head of this union. Okay? And Upshaw's wife used to come to our club a lot. And that's one of his second wife. But that's one of the stories that she told, how Upshaw would tell us how when he was having problems in the early days of the union, one of the people he called was Al. You think that was like totally backwards. That's an owner. Why are you getting advice and counsel from an owner? Because Al knew how to organize things. He knew how to make things happen. He knew the people. He knew he had the media contacts. And remember in the early days of the NFL, the salad days, right? They were the most hated group on earth.
Mhm. Yeah.
We mean unionized football players,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, the
Yeah.
owners hated that because
Yeah,
they
could
now they
stand
knew they
that.
had to be held to task for certain things.
Yeah.
Just like the whole player safety thing. That's because of the NFL Players Union. Without them,
Mhm.
half these guys wouldn't even last as long as they do in the NFL because there were no precautions. There was none of that shit. You
Mhm.
know,
Right.
yeah, I get it.
But it
It's a
was,
game. It's a violent game. But I mean, come on, to the extent that you got to worry about. Look at some of these guys that played back then. Some of them can't even walk. Like,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, and I only know this not personally, but from someone in the club that went to go see him last season. Mark Van Egan is like a shell of his former self.
oh wow. And I
And
loved him.
I'm sure you've met him. I've met him a couple of different times.
Yeah, they
You know,
took a
and
lot of
oh, it's
punishment.
horrible.
They
It's
did.
bad. He's so damaged from the concussions and everything that when he speaks, he ends up just kind of repeating himself over and over again.
Mhm.
Um, he really can't
Wow.
go out in public. He has to be very careful because of his immune system and everything else that goes on with it. So those concussions really, really took a toll on him. Look at Billy Sims, one of the best running backs back in the day. The guy has a hard time walking. Who's the other guy from? Um, oh my God, another guy from
There's-
the running back, big son of a bitch too.
well,
Can't think of his,
Riggins is still around. Are you thinking Riggins? Earl Campbell.
Earl Campbell.
can't think of his name now.
Not Earl Campbell.
Is it Earl? Because I know
Yes, Earl
Earl was
Campbell. Earl
struggling.
Earl
Campbell.
Campbell. Yeah, Earl
Yes,
Campbell.
He
Yeah,
was
yes.
struggling.
he has some
He
issues.
Yep.
was
Yeah.
just a shell of himself
He
too.
don't even look the
We got a
same.
soup.
You
Got a
look at him
super
right now, you
chat
can
here
see that's
from
Earl Campbell.
got a super chat here from Nav, man. Thank you, brother, for the $5 super chat. It says at Peggy, my expectations were very high to see you, but damn girl, my
Thank
expectations
you,
were not close.
Navy
You are beautiful
man.
and amazing in an amazing NFL mind.
Well, and
Thanks, Nav, man. Thank you.
by the way, guys, you have to thank my dad. Okay, the one with the Redskins tickets to the '60s.
Mm.
But at the dinner table, when most people are talking about Aunt Sue and Aunt Sally, we were repeating the stats of the top 5 running backs, wide receivers, and quarterbacks from Sunday's game. That was what we did at the dinner table.
Wow.
I was just going to ask you to make sure you tell that story because I've heard you
I
say
heard that.
that
Yeah.
story before too.
Yeah.
And
But that's how
that
she learned her rate of history growing up was
Hmm.
her
my
dad would
dad filled
wisdom.
me in, but he was a football fanatic. And, everybody in my family, I have 3 other brothers and sisters, they're all football fanatics too. Okay. We used to have to sit at the dinner table. And when the AFL was separated, we used to have to know the AFL guys too, right? And secret was that my dad was a bookie, but I mean, we always had to know our stats. We had to know the coaches of every team and the owners of every team and the GMs of every team. He would just call out a team, and you'd have to run it down.
That's
But
details. A lot.
that's the minutia of the game that kind of helps you put together theories of what may have happened, because you weren't a flap on the wall, right? So you don't really know, but a close, educated guess, and it helps you with football strategy. Okay. And this is one of the things that Al also was a master of. Even though we didn't get to see that, I think he knew how to win games. And I think he knew how to help his coaches win games. It's something about understanding how the game is played. It's a chess match. You make one move, they're not stopping this. You keep doing it. Okay. You make a move and they stop that, then you have to have another move. Okay. You have to figure it out. You've gone 3 quarters and you haven't got a touchdown yet. It's because you haven't figured out their defense yet. Why is your OC haven't figured this out yet? Okay, because last week's guys scored on them. How come you can't? Okay, that's what I think Al understood about the game that move, counter move. And he was very happy with Madden and Flores. But now, guys, this is a question I want to ask. As the years went on, he started making worse and worse choices for head coach. How did that happen?
Yeah.
How did that happen? He started off, I mean, we had the great John Roush. People forget, before we had Madden, right? I think Roush set Madden's team up to win that Super Bowl. There's no question in my mind that talent was there. So, but as the years went on, he started not knowing who to pick. What do you think happened?
I think that what happened was the game was starting to change a little bit for him. He was used to the old way of football that he used to, the way football played, run the ball, get the ball down deep. The game started to change, especially started going to the West Coast offense. I don't think he was ready for that, so he tried to get a West Coast offense coach. What's the name? Gruden? Something like that. And that's when he started like just trying to stay with the game. Because the game he played, it was like I said, beat you up, get on defense, run the ball down your throat, and then when you try to stop the run, we're just gonna throw it deep to Cliff Branch. That was his game plan every game. But it started to change, and he adapted to it fast enough. That's what I think.
What do you think of Jeff? I mean, why did he start striking out with coaches? He just couldn't find one.
I think it was a couple of different things. I think it was old age getting to him as part of it, and I think it was also the fact that everybody was still scared of him. Nobody was going to come up and say, "Hey, Al, don't do that," they weren't going to anger him because it's Al Davis. I don't care how old he is and how senile he would get. Not saying that he was, but I'm just saying, would you, Peggy, I know you're not one to back down from people, but would you walk up to him and say, "Hey, I'll knock this shit off"?
Hell no. If I wanted not unless I wanted to keep my job.
That's what I mean. So, who's going to walk up to him and say that? Because if Mark came in there and said, "Hey, Dad, don't do that," he'd be like, "Get the fuck out of here, kid." He'd be like, "Go away."
That's what my buddy at that Denver game. I said, "Now I'll hear you say that. Call him an old man. He'll walk up these stairs, man, and smack you back your head.
Smack you upside your head.
Smack you right side of the head."
Even if he was 100 years old, people would still be afraid of him because it's Al Davis. It's just any other owner you could get away with telling him, "Hey, don't, what are you doing? Don't do that." Al Davis is Al Davis. I don't care how you put it, what he looks like, how old he is, even if he's weltering in bed, but he can still function, like talk and everything, say, "No, I want that coach." You're going to do it because it's Al Davis. I think it was also that fear factor that people were just so deathly afraid of him. I mean, that had a lot to do with it, I'm sure.
Yeah. That
I wouldn't say it, and I'm a hell of a lot bigger than he ever was. There's no way I go up to go, "Al, what do you think, kid?"
Yeah.
No matter, man. The man demands so much respect. It's ridiculous. Like, you just got to get that.
But he's earned it. It's not even that he demands it. You're talking to a football mind. And whatever he knows double of what you know. Automatically, you're not going to snow him, like McDaniels telling Mark, "Oh, yeah, we can get rid of Carr and we'll just get another quarterback in here. Poof, presto, digito." That would never work with Al.
Nope.
He's going to want to know more than, well, who are you going to get? And what are you going to get for Carr? Al was the GM, the owner, and you're right. It's probably hard to find.
And he was still, in all honesty, he was still part coach. He was still part coach too, if you think about it. I mean, because you've heard players talk about him, even in his later years, that he would still go out there and say, "No, do it this way." He still had input on that aspect of it too. A lot of people don't realize how much of an influence he still had, even well towards the end of his, his life. Still having a say in direction. And we had a head coach, we had head coaches, but for the most part, he still helped make a lot of those decisions. or
Yeah.
gave a lot of input as to how to do things. There were certain coaches where he didn't butt in with, and Madden was one of them. I think Gruden at the start he didn't, but then that just went south real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have to say Flores. He probably didn't get too much involved with Flores because Flores was very successful as a head coach for us. You
Mm-hmm.
know, but I think the guys like Kiffin and Shanahan,
And,
you know, Art
jokes.
Shell, I think
More
he kind of
Turner.
laid off of him a little bit until the very end, closer to the end of his term with us, but he just had his hands in so much that I don't know how any of his handlers or whatever kept track of him half the time,
Yeah.
like in the building. Like, where is he? I don't know. Last I saw him, he was over there. And
Usually
you look,
on
he's out on the practice field. Or,
the field in locker rooms.
Well, my
yeah.
time is almost up, and I'm going to leave you with another personal Al Davis story. And you guys all know, if you've been a Raider fan a long time, the Hilton on Hagenberger, right?
Yeah.
Al used to have a suite of apartments there. And I didn't know this, okay? And it was late one night. Hilton and Hagenberger always closes up at 11 o'clock. Everything around there rolled up. 12 o'clock, you couldn't find, midnight, you couldn't find nowhere to drink. So I'm sitting on a bench in the back of the Hilton, just chilling out. And all of a sudden, here comes this entourage, about 3 guys. I always travel with bodyguards, okay? And he comes up, and he didn't have the walker. This may have been in the early 2000s. He sat on the bench next to me. We talked about we talked about Washington, D.C., the cherry blossoms and everything. And finally, it was about 15 minutes, and his bodyguards, they were just kind of standing there because they didn't know what he was going to do. Okay, next. And it was a late after midnight. It was a beautiful night out. I'll never forget this. And then he says to me, "So how do you think the team is doing?" I said, "The team is doing great," because this is the early 2000s, right? Gruden was here. He said, "Yeah, but they could do a lot better." That's what he said to me. And I'll never forget it. We just sat there quietly. And he says, "I was getting a little chilly for me. So we'll see you at the game tomorrow." Like that. And he got up and went to his little suite. And that was it. And that was my personal moment with Alec. He just asked me, how did I think to do? He didn't even ask my name. He saw I was a fan. I had my Raider stuff on.
Yeah.
And that was enough for him. And that's the kind of guy that I truly miss, to be honest.
Well, he respected the fans because he knew without the fans, the team was nothing too. That's the other thing. He liked not catering, but he liked entertaining the fans basically too. And I started saying this earlier in the show about the booster clubs. That they were famous for promoting the booster clubs. Once they moved to Vegas, that went out the window. Morris Bradshaw didn't go with the move to Vegas. There's no liaison anymore with the club. They don't even have it listed on the Raiders.com anymore. I do have a question for you real quick before you go.
Yeah.
I want to ask you this. What would you think? Where's the question? I had it written down. Okay. If Al Davis were alive today, what do you think? Would he approve or disapprove of what Mark's done with this team since his passing? If he were to come back and see what's going on now.
That's a good question.
Well, and let me start off by saying this. The last 10 years, he didn't perform any better than Mark either. Okay, let's just be real. He was struggling with finding a GM, with finding a coach, finding players that were, going to help this team win games. We lost 100 games between 2003 and 2011. And that's something that people don't understand. 100 games on the nose. I know it had to be killing Al. Okay? He didn't have it any better than Mark is. Mark's struggling because Mark just don't have a skill set. Okay? It's not what he was born and raised to do, is to run a football franchise. Al was born and raised to run a football franchise.
Mhm.
But Al struggled. And I think it's back to what Chris, you guys were telling me about. Things changed. The game changed on Al, and Al didn't understand what to do. And Mark, if Al didn't understand as much football knowledge as he had, Mark doesn't stand a chance. Mark never rolled up, and I use the tomato factory all the time. It's gonna be the last thing I'm gonna say. The tomato factory. If I buy a tomato factory, I'm going to learn everything I can about tomatoes. Why? Because I don't want my CEO and my CFO and everybody to come in and tell me bullshit, right? And I can't tell whether they're saying something to me that means something, talking nonsense, or they don't know what the hell they're talking about, because I don't know anything about tomatoes.
Good point.
That's Mark's problem.
Good point.
Mark can't tell when somebody's feeding him complete nonsense.
Yeah.
And that includes Tom Brady, y'all. He still can't tell when he's being fed garbage because he doesn't know anything about tomatoes. And it's a shame that he won't roll up his sleeves. He's had enough time, 12 years, to roll up his sleeves and learn a little bit about the tomatoes. Enough to know when somebody's talking garbage and when what somebody says makes sense. And to me, it's just Al's problem was the game change. Mark's problem is he doesn't have a skill set.
He never learned. He's a good businessman, but he never learned the game. He does business.
Nah.
He does, but he never learned.
I don't think he's interested in tomatoes.
That's why I get Gruden on it. That's why I get Gruden that big ass contract. You do everything. I'm just going to write your checks. I just want to sit back and write check. That's all I'm gonna do.
Yeah. So just two things. One, I know the Raiders are coming to Washington, so obviously you're going to be there for that game, I'm sure.
I may or may not be. I've been, I have lupus, and some days I can walk, and some days I can't. It's one of those rolling the dice. Is this a good day?
Sorry.
I'll be there. No.
Well, the other reason I was
roll with the punches.
Yeah, and I was also going to ask you because the Raiders are coming here to play New England this year too. So I didn't know if you were gonna, but if you got that going on,
I gotta find a way to get up there to Boston. I can put myself on an Amtrak train, right?
There you go.
I can do that. So I'm really got this game, the New England game, on my radar. Because I haven't been up there to see you guys in 10 years. I gotta come back. I gotta come back. It's lovely to see y'all, and we gotta do this again.
Oh, definitely. When we go, definitely in maybe in another month or so, get you on again, and we'll do another portion of Raider history. But we appreciate you being on with us. It's always a pleasure talking with you, Peggy.
Thank you for inviting me, and I hope I can come back, have you guys, and we can just roll with the topic.
Yep. And I'm just happy I get a chance to talk to you. I want to talk to her, but I'm happy. I'm giddy right now. I'm holding it in.
No. We just kicking it, man. We are doing our best to keep this Raider tradition alive. It is special, and it needs to be passed on. Okay, exactly. It's about character as well as football fun. Okay, see you guys next time.
See you, Peggy. Thank you very much for coming on. We appreciate you.
Bye.
Awesome.
Oh, that was awesome.
That's awesome.
Exactly what I expected from Peggy.
Awesome. Man.
She's awesome. She's so awesome.
Yes.
That's what, the third show I've done with her now, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the third time I've been on with her now.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I've seen a lot with the Savage show. I've seen her a lot on there.
yeah.
And with
I some of these I was kind of not trying not to put up while she was in the channel because I
yeah,
don't know
no,
how she
I
was.
saw some like open that up.
I saw this one come up for SoCal and I started kind of giggling a little bit in my head. I'm like, I'll put that up after she leaves.
Yeah, I was like, dude, don't put that up. That was
See,
great,
Mark
man.
wanted Gruden. Yeah, see shit like that. I couldn't put that up while she was here. I know you guys are probably doing it thinking I would put it up while she's here, but I'm not doing that to her.
No, that's disrespectful, man. Totally.
You rock, Miss Peggy.
Well, she can see it actually, so she can see in the chat. But
Yeah. She's awesome. Yes, she is. Thanks, Peggy.
awesome.
Thank you, Miss Peggy. Wiping tears currently. Why is he crying? Nation. It's a hard act to follow. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw somebody put that up there earlier too about calling him Captain Kangaroo with the haircut and everything. So
Yeah, I saw that.
She's 100% Raider through and through. I mean,
Yeah.
you heard her even talk about it. I've heard her say this before too. When she was a kid, her dad would sit them at the dinner table and would ask them questions about the Raiders, and and they had to recite it. That's how she learned so much about the Raiders and knows so much about the history. Like
But
to
now
the point
just
where she doesn't have to look at it on paper. You ask her a question, she's gonna probably know it. That's how much
but
she
not,
did that as a child, and it just instilled in your head.
not only the Raiders, but a lot of teams. You said that
Thanks, Jeff.
all the teams. So she knew about each team, who the head coach was, who the general manager, the owner. She knew each team.
Yeah, sorry, Raider Ryan. We started right at 9 o'clock, so she usually when she comes on shows, she's only on for about an hour.
Yeah.
So we're not going to be out for much longer after this. I want to do some of these questions. I want you guys to answer them. Let's see, it's a lot of shit. He's still around yeah, he definitely does. I mean, you see him around the fans a lot. So I had some questions that I think, like statements basically, that I wanted to bring up while she was on, but I couldn't interrupt her with her stories. I got to let her.
Stories are great.
Sort of like when you catch a marlin, you just let the line go. She starts with a story, you just let her fucking go with it.
Stories are awesome. That's some sort of thing I've never heard before. Like really,
Oh yeah, she said that to me too when her and I were talking the other day that she was going to come on with some information. So all right, so I'm going to ask these questions. Don't Google it, you cheap bastards. Now, what position in football did Al Davis first coach before becoming an executive? What position coach was he? Anybody? What do you got anything, Chris?
D-backs.
Thanks, Ray Love.
I think it was the defensive backs, wasn't it?
O-line, nope. Linebackers, nope.
Defensive
Running
backs.
back, nope. Jesus, 4 strikes already. Wide receivers coach.
Right here, okay. Didn't know that.
Let's see. Now, this is a hard level question, only for diehard Raider fans. So get your thinking caps on, fuckers. Al Davis got his start in pro football working under which legendary coach? I'll give you a bonus if you can tell me the team. And don't feel bad. I didn't know some of these answers till I looked it up.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, my brain's gonna blow up right now. It wasn't a Baltimore coach?
Nope.
No. What team was it? No. I think I know this. Oh my God. Oh.
Okay. LV, yeah, do a little shit. I know LV10 is fucking Googling this shit. There's no way he knows that.
No, he don't know this. He's Googling.
It is the Chargers. I'll give you that. So you get the bonus part of it right. Can you name the head coach then?
You gotta Google
Legendary.
that. You gotta Google that too.
Frank Weber got it. Sid Gilman. Good job.
Gilman. That's right.
What rule did Al Davis fight against, claiming it unfairly hurt the Raiders? What rule?
No, stick 'em.
No. This one hurts me really bad.
Wow, what rule?
This rule really hurts me. Hits boy gets it. Tuck rule. It hurts me because I lived here and I had to deal with all the asshole Pats fans for weeks on end because they went on to win the Super Bowl after that.
Yeah, that really don't exist anymore. They took it out.
No, they took it out.
Huh?
I'll give you an easy one, you goobers. How many Super Bowls did the Raiders win under Al Davis? Bonus if you can name all the years.
I know this one.
If I was a bit off the hook last night, I apologize to her. My wife and I celebrated all day.
What was that?
Just put it up there. Put it back up.
You pissed off Pat. I can't see.
Sorry. If Navman says if I was a bit off the hook last night, I apologize to everyone. My wife and I celebrated all day.
Apology accepted.
Thanks, Ray. Did anybody get it? Okay,
Yeah.
3, 80 and 83. And you got two of them. 76, 8. Nope. Sacktown, you're wrong. You're off by a year on each one except for the first one.
77.
Nope.
They won Super Bowl in 77.
76.
It was 76, 77 season.
It says 76. So it's 3 on the Al Davis. 76,
Yeah.
80, and 83.
Yeah, but they actually won in 77. But they're the 76 season. I hate when they do that shit. Like, really? They didn't play in December.
Let's see.
Played in January, early January.
What year did the AFL and NFL merge together? Come on, students. Don't make me pull out the red pens.
I'll take it up on this. I know how they merged. I don't know
what year did the AFL and NFL merge?
1966.
62, 60, 67, 68. Jesus Christ, we're going to stop putting multiple answers. 1960. I can tell you right now, you're all wrong. Every single one of you is not even close. 67, nope. At this point, process of elimination from the 60s. 69, nope. Good number, but not the right answer.
61, 62, 63, 64,
76, wrong.
No, I was waiting for that.
Jess is close.
I said 66.
The year I was born, 1970.
Oh, it is 70. I thought it was 16.
Yep.
66.
What's the name of the commissioner that Al Davis clashed with the most in the NFL?
Pete Rozelle.
Roger that.
I know that.
Let's see. Oh, this is going to be a good one. I wonder if anybody's going to get this one. What year did he become the commissioner of the AFL? That's kind of not the wrong answer, actually. He said all of them. All the commissioners. You're not wrong.
All of them. 66.
So what? Navman and Frank Weber got that one right. 1966, he became the AFL commissioner.
Yep.
And then 4 years later, we merged with the NFL because of him.
Yep.
What's his famous motto?
Just win, baby.
Chris got it right first.
Oh, everybody should know that one. That's all he says. Just win, baby. Commitment to excellence.
What year did he hire the first black head coach?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. It was in LA.
What year did he hire the first black head coach? Cool Kev, nope. Navman gets it right, 89. Art Shell. What year did he hire the first Latino head coach? Art Shell was the correct answer too. And it was 1989. A couple of you's got it. Navman and Frank Weber got it right. So what year did he hire the first Latino head coach? Flores is correct. What year was it? 2003. What the fuck?
That was a 3. Damn, what the hell?
2003-ish.
Ish.
What the fuck?
He won a
Sacktown
Super,
Mike gets it right. 1979.
he won Super
What was
Bowl
the
with
name of the first
Tom
female
Flores.
executive?
Amy Trasker,
Yep, you got that one.
the Princess of Darkness. That was a big name. I didn't come here to take a test, man. I'm not in school no more. Get out of here with that. Quiz show.
Let's see. Ooh, I got a good one for you. How old was he in 1963 when nope. I'm not gonna do that one. I didn't like that one. Let's see.
Amanda Hug and Kiss. Yeah, okay. 43.
In 1982, Al Davis moved the Raiders from Oakland to where?
LA, baby.
You are correct.
Yeah, guys from high school. I was so happy, man. I said, shit.
Who was the first ever player drafted under Al Davis's leadership with the Raiders? Most of you are going to get this wrong. I can tell you that right now.
We're going to say Otto.
I'll read this again. Who was the first ever player drafted under Al Davis's leadership with the Raiders?
So you're going to say Jim Allen.
Jason's wrong. Sacktown Mike's wrong. So I just we're going to get it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I will be shocked if anybody gets this one.
I'll be shocked if I
because it's not going to be who you think.
Was it Tom Flores?
Anybody? Before I give the answer?
Was it Tom Flores?
Nope, not Casper.
No, it's later.
What'd you say?
Was it Tom Flores?
Nope.
No, he wasn't drafted.
Nope,
Right.
Was in the no.
Carl Weathers. DeMarcus, MF, and Russell. Yeah, okay.
Madden has a couple of sons. George A. Panda. George Panda? You mean Blanda? No. You give up?
Yeah, go ahead.
Gene Upshaw, 1967. Under his leadership, which means when he went from being a coach to pot ownership.
I didn't know that.
That was his first. The first player we drafted was who said it? Somebody said it over here. It wasn't Roman Gabriel. It was not Otto. That's another one people would get wrong if I read that one. And they'll say, well, no, that he never played for us. No, he never played for us, but he was the first draft pick. He ended up going to the NFL.
He went to the Rams.
Let's see. I think that's the end of the... This is such a... No wonder this is an easy question. What iconic color scheme did Al Davis bring to the Raiders? Anybody gets this wrong, I'll boot you from this chat. You'll never be allowed in another Raider chat.
It was gold and black. Black and gold.
Have your Raider Nation card revoked, Mullis.
It was black and gold.
What? Were you serious? Or are you busting my balls?
That was the original design was black and gold.
I'm not even going to entertain you. Your answer doesn't count.
Yeah, it was the design was black and gold. It was black and gold. The design was black and gold, but he changed that. I was like, oop, nope. That was ugly. The Oakland Seniors.
Actually, you know what? I am going to ask this question. Joined the Raiders as head coach in 1963. How old was he at the time?
Who? Al?
Al Davis.
22.
How old?
I'm spitballing, man. Don't mind me. I have no idea.
That man, pink, white, and stupid. Who said 33? Who said 33? That
Yeah, man.
Jason Downs said
Jason
33.
Downs said it first.
Frank Weber, you were close. It's 33. He was 33 years old at the time.
Man, I was young.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for the questions. I could have pulled out more, but I didn't feel like it.
My brain hurts.
Let's see.
Oh, checking something. I was gonna check something, and then Peggy started talking. I forgot what I was doing. So
let's see. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, I guess that's it for the questions. So, I thank everybody for tuning in tonight. That was a shit ton of fun.
that was great.
She's awesome. What's up?
The elder abuse.
The elder abuse. Just said you were unceremoniously blocked. Yeah, little fucker. Somebody file a fucking elderly abuse complaint with my local police department. It's Cumberland, Rhode Island. Cumberland Police Department. Look it up. Elder abuse. Little fucker. But, so I'll try and work on a guest next week if I can. Still working on trying to get Violator on. He's away on a cruise right now, so he'll probably won't be for a couple of weeks if we can.
Mm-hmm.
So next week we'll start with another aspect of the Raiders and go through the history of that. We'll probably get into
players or positions.
Well, I was thinking more like head coaches.
Okay, you start with that.
We can cover head coaches starting next week. You know, from the first to the most recent. I think we can bang out an hour and a half to almost 2 hour content on that with no problem.
Yeah, but you got to exclude that one coach. I don't want to talk about him. Big dummy. We'll put a black mark to that.
Oh, we're starting with him. The whole show's going to be about him.
Yeah.
How great he is, and
how great is it fucking a
team? You get
huh?
Tom Cable on the show. I probably could. I'd probably just send him a package of Twinkies, and he'd probably come on. Let's see. Yeah, we're not doing a pull up tonight.
Yeah,
Justin, I'm gonna take a break tonight from that.
After last night, I think we're gonna just call it because
yeah.
So
we did about an hour and a half tonight. We got an hour of content with Peggy, giving us our history lesson from her about the Raider, about Al Davis and the Raiders, and
stories.
It's always fun having her on. Last week was a little bit different having Cap on because we just were able to just roll right into a late night show with him, and that was awesome.
All right.
Let's see. Anything else in the chat going on? You got anything coming up, Chris?
Yeah, I'm gonna do another fan base mock draft next week, probably Tuesday. Because I think I got something to do Wednesday. So yeah. So you guys stay tuned. I'll post it up, and then you guys can join me.
Jason, I got my coffee. I got another full one in the fridge too, and a medium.
This episode was brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts. And an empty box of Cheez-Its over there.
You know, they could probably call you and say, hey, you want sponsorship? Like, yeah, hell yeah, you do.
What is it, Jeffrey, for some Manhattan? No, I don't like Manhattan chowder. Ugh, no.
Ugh.
I like the New England clam chowder. I like the white chowder.
Yeah,
I don't like the man. I haven't had when I was a kid. I used to like the Manhattan, the red chowder, but as I grew up, I started with the white chowder, and I just like it.
I was at a restaurant when I was a teenager. You know, had a date, went out to a restaurant, and they had chowder. They had chowder. I wasn't even paying attention. I didn't know the difference between Manhattan and New England. I said, "Yeah, I'll take some chowder." So I'm thinking it's gonna be the New England chowder and the red chowder. Like I tasted it, like I don't want this crap. I want New England chowder. Oh, we don't carry that brand. Like, no, I'm out of here.
Yeah, there's another one too. Some people call it a Rhode Island chowder, but it's clear. It's just it's not made with the red chowder. You know, it's not made with milk. It's just fucking water. And it's just doesn't taste the same. It's just fucking gross. Ugh.
Chowder ain't chowder unless it's a New England clam chowder. I don't care. No. Need someone try.
What am I scared of? Did I miss something?
Somebody try to eat corn chowders. What the hell is corn chowder?
That I don't mind so much.
I didn't know it was.
Basically, it's just clam chowder, but take out the clams and put corn in it. Same fucking thing, basically.
I like the clams.
Nate, are we doing Madden tonight or what? I want to play. It's early. It's only 10:30. I want to do some streaming of Madden tonight for sure.
I can't watch that, man, because I'm gonna feel bad. I'm gonna call the police. Or call YouTube, tell them, hey, you gotta take this down, man. This guy's getting beat too bad. You can't have. I'm talking about you, Nate. You're getting beat bad. I'm talking about Joe. I'm talking about Nate.
Yeah. Jeff's favorite Bostonian.
What?
Mine is Seth MacFarlane. I think he's from that. I like Marky Wahlberg. Matt Damon's not bad either. Affleck, all of them actually. Although I think Casey Affleck's the funniest of them all. He's fucking hilarious. Yeah, we're definitely doing Madden tonight. I don't give a shit. We're fucking streaming it on all our shit tonight too. Tomorrow I will. If I'm on during the day tomorrow, I'm gonna be on location. Tomorrow we have the Booster Club's pool tournament. So I will be there tomorrow. See, here it is tomorrow. So anybody that's in the Rhode Island area, feel free to join us. Bose Billiards in Warwick, Rhode Island. Anybody wishes to make a donation to it, it's a fundraiser for the Tomorrow Fund. Helps with families for children that are fighting cancer. Helps defer some of their costs. Because we do have a children's hospital here at the major hospital in the state, Rhode Island Hospital. So that also helps with parents that are out of state. Help, with locations to stay while they're out here and help with them, paying for that and paying for some of the medical for the children. So we do this every year. We do this fundraiser. Past years we've done as much as $1,000 we've raised. So we try and keep it to hopefully we can get close to 1,000 this year. But it starts tomorrow, 12 o'clock my time. So from 11 o'clock on, I'm not going to be home. I may check in from the tournament, probably post some shorts, but I'm going to get a bunch of pictures and shit. And I will be doing an edited video this week from the tournament itself. The only other thing I got coming up is streaming Madden playing for whenever. Tonight for sure.
Well, I'm on to stream my game tonight. Shoot, you guys doing? I'll stream mine.
Yeah, you can do your farm simulator tonight.
Hell yeah, man! So put everybody to sleep.
Anything during the week, Chris and I might come on during the day. If any major news breaks, we'll probably be on.
Well, the Monday, by the way, because Monday's the deadline for that linebacker Ellis, so that'll probably break Monday. Because I saw a clickbait said he was signed. I said no, they ain't signed anybody today. So
Tomorrow, I mean, the only thing coming up this week, other than maybe a quick pop-up show, is me streaming Madden on and off throughout the day and night. And then Wednesday night, we got the Raiders Connection, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. Myself, LV 10, Leo, Cheeto Linus, and Jay from Just Raiders, baby. And then Thursday night is myself and LV 10 for the Raiders Coast to Coast. Friday night, don't know what we're going to do with that yet. I got to find out if Turf's going to be around or not. But yeah, I think that's about it. So I know Nate's was talking about going on all day tomorrow playing Madden. So I don't know if he's still got that plan. So that is all. Nate, Jess, meet me on Discord after this so we can figure out what the fuck we're doing. All right, everybody. Chris, you got anything?
salute. Like I said, stay tuned for the fan only. Is Jason in here? Fans only draft. Just make sure that clear.
Only fans draft.
No only fans. Fans only draft Tuesday. So guys, join me. I'll put the time out. I haven't set the time yet, but join me like Tuesday. That's what we're gonna
do. Again, Nav, man, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody being here with us tonight. And until next time, everybody, stay safe, take care, and go Raiders.
Go Raiders.